Now, today's a great day to make a comparison between two guns. Today we have on the bottom a Glock Model 48. We'll call this the G48. This is a nice single stack 9mm pistol. Holds about 10 rounds plus one in the chamber. And you can see that the barrel length is the same as the top one. These are both 4-inch guns. The top one has become my absolute favorite, and it is the Walther PDP. And we're going to talk about these in great detail today. I want to make a direct comparison, why I like one over the other, and I'm going to say this is kind of back where I started back in my days with the Glock 17s and 19s and 21s. This is very similar to the Glock 19 in the size. The barrel's 4 and maybe a fraction. It's 4.19 or so, but I just call it a 4-inch tube. And then the frame is the same angle. Everything pretty much is the same, except that it's thinner on the grip because they went with a single. So let's have a look at that. I'll take this mag out. I've already checked these guns. They're both empty. But you can see that's a single stack mag. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. If you feel like you have to have a thinner gun or a little bit lighter gun or all that, there's an advantage to that. But let me show you right off the bat what I like about my gun and why I would highly suggest this. This one is some kinfolk of mine. I'm not going to name any names, protect the innocent, but I'm going to try to talk him out of this gun into this gun, and I'm going to show you why. In Arkansas, we have got the new law that gives us the right to open carry, which that law's been on the books ever since they wrote the Second Amendment to the Constitution. But I'm very thankful that they do that, and when the sun is shining brightly and I go out shopping in the store, I carry my gun out in the open in a nice holster. The holster is my safety, and it's a Cadex holster. That's a topic for later, but I carry that where it's on display. Everybody can see I've got a gun on my hip. I'm the good guy, and I don't play around with the gun. I don't ever touch the gun other than just making sure it's still there and that my arm is covering it. I do pay attention to people walking up on me. Don't let them get too close. But anyway, I like this for my everyday carry. Now let me show you. We're just going to make a comparison here, one to the other. These are both polymer lower guns. They both have a steel slide and a steel barrel on the upper. They're both black. But after that, things start to change a lot. This is his gun, and you'll notice that it just has plain sight on it. This is a night sight, but this is not a MOS. They call them a MOS, I believe, which is a modular optic system, and this is not cut for MOS. So this gun here is just going to always have plain sights, open sights on the rear, open sights on the front. So set him aside. So on the PDP, I have stepped this up to the Holosun. Let me zoom in here so you can see some details. There's your part numbers for you. Hopefully that'll focus good. And this is you won't be able to see the optics on this, I don't think. Maybe you can. But it has a round circle, large round circle, and then in the center it has a chevron. And what happens when you pull this up and you're going to aim at something, you can see that circle if your hand is in close, and as soon as you start going out, the circle goes away, and then you can only see the chevron when you get out to shooting length. I love that. That automatically gives your eye the chance to correct the sights and get exactly where you need to be able to hit the target. So whether you're falling down beside a car and shooting around a tire or whatever the case may be, that if you see partial sight, like a half of a circle, then you know you need to lean one way or the other to see a full circle. Then as you extend out, the circle goes away. And then you've got that nice V that's pointed up. V, hard to do with one hand. And the bullet hits right at the tip of that V. So that's a good setup. So I love this type of sight. Now somebody might say, well, what if the battery goes dead? Well, it's battery and it's solar powered. It's got both. And I did put the tall rear sights on it. You can see those rear sights. And then I got the taller front blade on it. That's a solid steel blade. And what that gives me the ability to go ahead and look right through the open window here. And if my battery goes dead, I've still got the capability of using my backup iron sights. They call it BUIS, backup iron sights. So I love my sight system. That's well established. It works great. Let's talk about the next thing. In between the two, this one has got something that looks like a Mercedes emblem kind of, and it is like a Mercedes emblem, three-sided, but it's coming outward to you. It's not flat like the Mercedes. It protrudes out, and it's a little thorn. And that thing, I'm telling you, it is very aggressive. It doesn't hurt your hands, though. It's not that aggressive. This is a little different pattern on the front. But all of this is really good texture. I'm going to go ahead and rack this gun open and show you that the gun is, in fact, empty. But that, I like that. Now, we're making a comparison. So this one is almost slick. It has somewhat of a texture, but if I had to grab up a gun and my hands, let's say my hands were really sweaty or oily, or maybe I busted my hand and my hand had some blood on it, which blood can be pretty slippery, pretty greasy. This is not the grip that I would want to go with. So that's a reject. If I have to choose between the two, I'm going with what Walther PDP. They designed an excellent grip, very good tactile structure. So while we're talking about grip, Glock did a good job in that they put the serrations on the rear and on the front for people that like to cock a gun on the front or do a press check. You've got that as an option, but these are just wimpy, weeny cuts in comparison to these all-terrain, off-road, heavy-duty. Look at those things, man. They machined those. They had to put extra meat on the slide, make the slide extra thick on the nose. Some people say, oh my gosh, it's heavier. Yeah, but I'm a man and I don't fall apart over an ounce or two. It just doesn't make me, I'm not a snowflake, so I don't worry about that. It is very, very aggressive. So when you put your fingers on that, no matter if they're greasy, bloody, muddy, soaking wet, half frozen, with gloves or without, you're going to be able to grip that forward cocking serration. And the rear is just as beefy as the front. And in my case, I've got my optics there, so I can use that if I have to and just put the palm of my hand on that, gently pull it to the rear, let it fly, and I'm good to go on that too. So I got two options. Let's go to the next. So we know that. We've got that. So this one you can mount optics on. This one you cannot. So what's the difference in the price? Well, this is about a $550 gun, getting closer to $6. Some of them are a little over $6. So this is right around $6, and this is right around $5.50. So it's about a $50 difference between the two. So that immediately shifts me to this gun. $50, you're getting a whole lot more options. So let's talk about the next feature. Does it have a place to put a laser underneath on the front? The Glock does not. There is no equipment rail on a G48. So it is plain Jane. It just doesn't have that. This one has a place to mount a nice light and laser, and boy, I love those. O-Light makes a fantastic. I did a video already on that. You can look that up on my channel. But it's a fantastic, super bright white light, bright green dot, and the controls for it stick down like right in this area of the trigger guard, and all you do is just use your trigger finger and just tap that, because it clamps onto the front and on the rail, and you just do a quick tap and you got your light and your laser on and you're ready to go to work. So that's another feature. I got honeybees out here. These guys are going to help me with this video. So equipment rail is there, equipment rail's not there. You need your equipment rail, buddy. You're in the house, you want to clear the house, look for a bad guy in the house, you need a light on that pistol. So what's the next feature that you really like? Well, this is a big one for me. It has a release to let the slide go on either side. You can use your index finger on one side or your thumb on this side, however you want to do it. You can let that slide go easy. Works great. So I like the the multiple controls. It's a nice wide step. It is actually designed to be a slide release. Glock does not even call this a slide release. They call it a slide stop. I'm going to cock this back, show that the gun is unloaded, and that's all you've got to release that slide is that little super flat device right there. That is no good for me. They expect you to use your other non-shooting hand and pull this to the rear, but what if your non-shooting hand got slammed in a car door or you got shot in the shoulder or whatever? Not good. This will work, but you got to have a pretty strong grip to get your thumb on that, and if your thumb happened to be oily or bloody or wet, you might slide over that and not be able to let that go. So that's a no-go on that also. So what's the next one? Well, I like the mag release on this. The mag release on this puts me in mind exactly my old days of the 1911. It's a round button. It's right where it's supposed to be. It is guarded by this little rim so you don't accidentally drop your mag out in a firefight or even at the target range. I like that, but I like the way that feels on my thumb. It is serrated, and that works great. Also, don't know about this, not sure on the Glock, but I do know on the Walther PDP, that is fully reversible. All you do is you take your bobby pin, or actually a paper clip, you poke this out a little bit by pushing on it. There's a little hole in there, and you push through the hole, and you can pull that apart and stick it in on the other side. You can make this right or left, which I did on my wife's gun. She has a gun similar to this, and I reversed hers because she's a lefty. So say, what else do you like? Well, watch this. This is huge in comparison. You take that gun right there, you see the grip angle? See how the grip angle is? It's got this nice palm swell in the back. You got a deep cut here for your web of your hand to go, but watch this. Put that Glock on top of it. Get these lined up. And I'm going to try to get these slides lined up. I'm going to make a little shadow here, but watch this. Now I'm going to get the slides lined up. And look at the slides lined up. Look at that oddball angle, man. That angle, I know Glock engineers worked on that real hard through the years and tried to make it all this and that. That angle does not work for me. If I close my eyes and draw a Glock, I will not be pointed at the target. When I open my eyes, I will be off. I'll be pointed to the sky, and I have to literally break my wrist, tilting downward to get this gun. So when I draw this out, just grab it out of the holster, draw it out, and go up. That's what I'll see right there. I will see an up angle. I will see the flat of the top of that gun, and then I have to point that gun down to get it to where it is pointing correctly so that it's flush like that. This gun, I draw it out, and boom, as soon as you pull it out, man, that thing, your optics, they have worked so hard to get that. When you draw that gun, your green dot or red dot on this will be right on the money, and that's a big one. So I love that. So what else do you like about the difference in the two? Well, this one, the trigger on it, man, the trigger on this, you pull to a wall, it stops, you pull a little further, and you get a nice clean break. Now, it's not as clean as a 1911, but it is approaching that. It is headed towards like you would have in a single action trigger with all steel parts, and I mean, that thing is pretty nice. It's a very, on a polymer gun, it's nice. And they do make a competition trigger for this gun. I personally would not want to go into a competition trigger for my everyday carry. I just don't want to do that, because when you get a little adrenaline flowing, you'd be surprised how a 4-pound trigger can easily turn into a 4-ounce trigger. So that's a no-no. Don't fool with the trigger on your carry gun. The Glock's trigger, I have checked this empty. It is a long take-up. The book rates this at 5.5 pounds. I think this other one's rated at about 4 1/4, 4 1/2, something like that. I pulled my scales, and I've had about 4 1/4 on mine. This one is 5.5, and they use the approximate equal sign, which means the squiggly equal sign. But you pull and pull and pull, and you feel this spongy, long, spongy take-up, and there is no crisp break. It's spongy all the way in and rubbery. I don't like that. Now, I know you can go on YouTube, watch Mr. Hickok 45, and he can take a short barrel Glock and shoot targets at 80 yards, but he has really got used to those triggers, that Glock. Now, if you want to spend lots and lots of time and burn thousands of rounds of ammo, you can get good with this trigger. But I'd rather just get me a good trigger that's already all that does a great job, and I don't have to do all that thinking. I put my green chevron on what I want to shoot. I pull it back till I hit the wall. See that? Hit the wall. Hear that? Listen. Hear that? I don't even have to be that careful. Listen. You got a pump running in the background. Listen to this click. I'll try to get close. Hear that? That's me stopping at the wall. And then the break. And very little travel. Reset short on that too. So let's try that one more time. Hit the wall. Stop. Break. So you're not shooting these. I know. We're just looking at the difference in the two. And I thought you would enjoy this today. It's a pretty simple little review. But so let's review this again. I'm going to review my review. The thing I like on this, you've got a nice, rough, tactile texture. I like the raised hump in the middle of the back. Fits my hand good. This is replaceable. I didn't mention that. You can pull that off. One roll pin. You can pull that back strap off. Get 3 different back straps. This one on a M48 or G48, model 48, G48 Glock. No removable back strap. It is what it is. You're stuck with what you get from the factory. It's plain Jane. It's very rough texture here, very slick here. Slick on the side. See, there's a big area there where there's nothing. And then that doesn't have much texture. It has a little bit. Okay, I'm going to say it has a little bit, but not much. Barrel length, they're both 4-inch. This one, cocking serrations are minimal. They will work, but if you're oily, bloody, muddy, or wet, you can just know that you could slip. These, you're not going to slip. This one has the equipment rail, which is fantastic to be able to put your light and your laser up front. This one is sans, as they say, equipment rail. No equipment rail there. What else do I like about this? This one has the slide stop, which they don't call a release. Glock calls that a slide stop. And it is definitely a minimalist. It won't get hung up on anything, but you might not be able to operate it either. This one has a large shelf, much more like the old custom guns, custom 1911s. That's what they did. They'd make a long shelf on that slide release, slide stop, and boy, that thing is easy, even with your index finger. You can operate, watch this over here on this side. That's my index finger, and it went smooth as silk. And I just love this gun. It fits my hand better. Now, there's another thing, one more thing to cover that I forgot. Look how short the grip is. Now watch this. This is a kind of a short grip, and see my finger? I am quickly running out of a place for my hand to be. I got a full-size hand, I know that. There's my finger up there in safety zone. But if you look there, that pinky is trying to ride off of that. He's running out of room real quick. This one is a 4-inch gun, and this is kind of a hybrid. This is what everybody's going to. 4-inch upper. But notice, I'm going to try to zoom in here close so you can see this with the sunshine. Look what that says on that frame. See that? Full size. Yes, sir. Full size. What do you like about that? Well, I got control of the gun. See how much my pinky's not looking for a place to be. It's got a place. It's got a place built for it. Got a place over here. That finger's in a safe location. And that thing, I'm telling you, it's like picking up a DeWalt drill. This feels like a tool in your hand. You know why? Because it is a tool. A gun is a hole maker. You can make things that are stupid stop being stupid, and it is nothing more than a tool. I wish people would stop trying to make them into something magic. It's a tool. If I'm on the farm and I got a board and I need to poke a 9mm hole in it a couple places and run a rope through there, I can go pop, pop, and I've got 2 holes right where I want them to be and run the rope through there, and it's just a real handy tool. If I've got a bucket that needs to have a place to drain some water out of the bottom, I want to use a bucket as a tool bucket. I don't want it to fill up with water. I just take this nice tool here, cock it, chamber around, and put that down facing in a safe place in the bottom of the bucket, straight down, and then click this time, but pow, 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 put me 3 holes in the bucket. And now I could, my wife can go out there with her fence pliers and whatever else she's got, drills and staples and stuff, throw it in the bucket, and if it rains, no big deal. It's going to drain the bucket out. So I love the Walther PDP. I'm telling you, this is the way to go right here. Even if you don't get the fancy optics on the top and just stick with factory sights, the trigger's better. The grip is much, much better on the hand. The cocking serrations are far superior, and reliability, they're both very reliable guns. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Of the two, I would definitely go with this. If I had to get in a fight and this is the only thing laying around, I would not turn my nose up at it. Glock makes a very good gun, very reliable, 9mm, but it is only 10 shots. This one, you have to keep that in mind too. Look at this, solid steel magazine, man. How many rounds have we got? Let's see if I can get that to focus. Look at that, 18 rounds plus 1. So 18 versus 10, you're got twice as much, almost twice as much fight capability. So again, thank you for watching. Appreciate you coming out to be with us here today at the Whimsical Farm and being with the Shoot Fire with Ashley channel. So hopefully you'll come back soon and keep watching. We'll give you some more great information. Thanks again. Please tap that little like and subscribe button real carefully, and we'll see you later. Over and out for now.